If you're just now tuning in, hi, my name is Meah, and you're watching Living the Planted Life. This camera seems awfully close today, but it's rather late for a live video, but I wanted to discuss the subject of disappointment because of a recent conversation that I had. Um, so, uh, just to give a little bit of backstory, uh, well, well, there's really no backstory required for this one. So I'm going to talk about briefly about disappointment. Something recently happened, actually today. It, well, the thing didn't happen today, but I made a video the other day because I was talking about the dating, um, not industry, but I was talking about dating in this time frame. Um, so that was the video the other day, but I mentioned in that video that I um, recently, or I'm newly single, and by new, I guess I mean single for a year, and that's not really the focus of this particular video, but the subject about disappointment in relationships. So let me just this is why I made this making this video this evening because um, I noticed in my apartment complex that I live in, there are quite a few people who are moving out. Um, and it's interesting to me and it's odd um, because I myself, I was trying to determine whether or not I wanted to renew my lease. And that still remains to be seen. I really don't want to renew my lease because I think I'm ready for a new space, new energy, a place with new energy. And so a person across from me moved out last week. The lady next to me was evicted, what, 2 weeks ago, I think the lady was evicted. Um, and whenever I came home this evening, I saw one of my neighbors. Hello, talking about disappointment in relationships tonight. So if you're interested in hearing, I guess my story time is story time, I guess. Um, so right now I'm just talking about how this disappointing thing came about. Okay. So the people in my apartment complex have been moving out. So I saw one of my neighbors today whenever I got home, and the neighbor says, "Good morning." It's evening here in Michigan, the US. Um, but at any rate, so I saw my neighbor from across the way, and I normally don't see them. So she said that she said hello, greeted me. I greeted her, and we got into conversation. And she said that, and I had mentioned that one of the ladies who was our mutual neighbor had moved out. And the woman had said, yes, she knew that the lady moved out and that they were going to be her and her sister were going to be moving soon. And I says, really? Why? So they had shared that it was about the pricing point. The rent keeps increasing every year, which is true. It keeps increasing every year. But one of the things that I noticed whenever she told me that how much they were paying for rent, her and her sister, I thought, that's interesting that you guys are paying about $100, $200 less than me, and you've been living here longer. Um, so that's a different story. That's a totally different story. That's about, ethnicity, I guess, and inequality and things like that. But that's for a different story. That's not the focus of this. The focus is that they indicated that they were thinking about moving out, and I had agreed that I had thought about moving out just the same. So, and like I said, my neighbor that was next door, she got evicted. The neighbor across the way, they moved out last week. So the rent is increasing in my complex. I myself am trying to determine what I'm doing. I've been trying to determine what I was going to do for at least what, for at least what, 3 years now. For about 3 years now, every March that comes up, I'm ready to move, and time goes by and I don't find a place, and then I end up re-signing the lease. This year, I don't think I'm gonna re-sign the lease. So, a couple of days ago, I made a video about how I'm single now, right? So I'm single now, and I was in a relationship. I'm embarrassed to say for how long, but I was in an on and off again relationship for 16-year period. Okay, and I decided to end that last February. Actually, it was February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, that I ended my relationship of that amount of time. So, been single now for a year, and all this information about the apartment complex. So, what do I do? So, I thought about it and I was like, wow, who can lament with me about this, right? So, I got on the phone and I called ex boyfriend, right? So I called ex-boyfriend and I says, hey, there are a lot of people that are moving out of the complex. Because he's the only other person that would know what the people look like that are in the complex, and like who all the players are, basically, who I'm talking about. So I give him a call, ask him how he's doing. And then I mentioned that people are moving out of the apartment complex. And he starts talking about how, he thinks I should move to Detroit, back to Detroit, la, la, la. And I'm like, the rent in Detroit is kind of high. Um, well, in the metro area is high, period. But in Detroit, more so because of the redlining for insurance, car insurance. So that kind of keeps people out of the city sometimes. And I'm a public servant. They don't pay like that. Like, they don't be paying like that. So, anywho, that's beside the point, because again, this is a story about disappointment. So, we're talking, la la la, tell them that different people are moving out the building. And then I starts joking with him and I said, well, hey, if I get hard up or in a bind, can I move in with you? Crickets. I heard crickets whenever I says, well, can I move in with you? And he was like, no. And I says, no. Excuse me? We were dating for, I didn't say this, but I'm thinking this right at that time. Well, that's hilarious. Don't laugh. Oh my gosh. So he says, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, if I'm in a bind and like if I needed to, like, if I needed a place to like crash, like, you would let me stay with you? And he was like, well, I mean, we've been broken up for a year now. Oh, you laughing? Dang, broken but believing. Don't laugh. Oh my gosh. So he was like, well, we've been broken up for a year, and I don't really know what you're doing out here. Why don't you ask your significant other? Is what he told me. And I was like, significant other? Like, I'm single. Like, what are you talking about? I don't have no significant other. You were the one that was my significant other, but I haven't had one since I broke up with you. So what are you talking about? And I was like, so you mean to tell me, like, if I was in a bind and I needed you and I like didn't have any other place, like, you wouldn't let me just like crash with you? And he said no. And I says, damn, that's messed up. And I'm gonna tell you why it's messed up. So 2014, okay, same person, parents died. I happened to be over at his family home one day. I was there, and as a matter of fact, I was helping him apply for jobs. Happened to be over there, and his brother came home and his sister came home, and his brother asked me to leave out the living room. So I leaves out the living room, right? And well, first he says, well, hey, I got to talk to him real quick. The older brother is telling me that he has to talk to the boyfriend at the time, the person who was my boyfriend at the time. And I says, oh, okay. So I'm thinking that they're about to, I think, I know some men, right? So I'm thinking that they're about to have the conversation still with me in the room. And then the older brother was like, no, I need you to leave. So I was like, oh, but me leaving means I'm going out to the porch. Like, and he was like, yeah, I need you to leave. So I left out the house and stood on the porch for a minute. And after a minute, I heard all this bumping and knocking in the house. I guess they were about to get into a fight. I heard all this yelling and stuff. So I had called my mom, like, Mom, I think they in there fighting. Like I think they're in here fighting. She was like, you need to get out of there. You need to leave. So I didn't leave or whatever because I was just like concerned. So I didn't leave at that time. And a couple minutes after all of the bumping, knocking, and cussing and stuff, the older brother comes out the house and says, um, older brother comes out the house and says, well, you could go back in there now. So I go back in there and I was like, hey, are you, I'm calling for ex-boyfriend at the time. I was like, hey, are you in here? You like, is everything okay? And then he came downstairs and was like, they're saying that I gotta go. And I'm like, gotta go? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, they're telling me I gotta leave tonight. And I'm like, leave tonight? But like, it's nighttime. Like, and he was like, yeah, they're kicking me out. And I was like, really? And then he asked me with these puppy dog eyes if he could stay with me. Now, that was in 2014. Okay. Or maybe that was 2015. No, that was 2014. Fast forward to 2026, whenever I am hypothetically at, so let me backtrack. 2014, he asked me if he could stay with me temporarily. Since we were together, I was like, I didn't really want that to be the case, but I said yes at that time. Right. I know. Oh, hell no, it's right, right? But listen, I'm a kind person, and it was really a messed up situation. So I helped him clean out his family home. I mean, I helped him clean out his room from his family home that same night that they kicked him out. Moved all his stuff to my place. The next day, whenever I went back over there with him, or no, he went back over there by himself to go pick up some more of his personal effects. They had changed the locks on him. They changed the locks on him. And that was so rotten to me, I felt like, because they were like, they're biological family members, and their mother had just died. And then they kicked him out. I know, right? Isn't that crazy? So listen, fast forward. So I let him stay with me, and that was back in 2014. Now I let we stayed together probably at that stint we stayed together living together maybe for about a year and a half until I did later have to say no, you can't live with me no more. I did say that later on, but I I let him stay with me. Fast forward to currently, we're not together, but I asked him a hypothetical situation, like if I was in a bind, could I come stay with you? And his ass gonna tell me no. I was like, excuse me? Is this the same person who I let stay with me back in 2014? Whenever you abruptly got kicked out of your family home, aren't I that same person? And you telling me no, that if I was in a bind, you would not let me stay with you? I was thinking to myself, wow, wow, wow. I was like, that's real rich. That's very rich considering, is he in a relationship? No, he ain't even in a relationship. That's why I was just thinking to myself, like, ugh, like how you going first of all, I think I was just very disappointed by the response because what I did in that moment, like whenever I asked him that, I was also transposing any other scenario to that. Like for example, it could have even been the question, if I was sick and didn't have any other place to go, would you let me stay with you? Like it could have been that question, or it could have been, hey, I'm financially in a bind. Can I crash with you for a couple of weeks or whatever? Like that could have been the question. There are so many other scenarios that could have been transposed to the question that I asked him today. And he told me no, basically. No, he would not let me stay with him, even though he's not in a relationship. And then his question to me was, well, can't you ask one of the guys that you're talking to? I'm thinking like, well, why the F would I do that? Like, at least I know you. Like, what? what would possess you to even ask me some ridiculous stuff like that? Like, and then the rationale became, oh, well, I don't really know what you're doing out here, like being single or whatever. And I'm thinking, like, but you know me, and you know that I'm like, you know me. So, like, what is this all about? Like, why are you saying no in this regard and telling me that you wouldn't help me if I was in a bind? Like, what kind of man? I'm just trying to figure out to myself, like, what kind of guy was this that I was even really with for that a long period of time? Like, if you would tell me no, that you wouldn't let me crash with you if I was in a bind, like, it makes me wonder, like, why was I even in a relationship with that person to begin with, for let alone for that amount of time? Like, I'm actually baffled. I was baffled by it. I had to run it by a different person. I'm thinking, like, you're not in a relationship, you still single. Now, granted, okay, let's let's play advocate here. Let's just say that the person is still having feelings for you, right? Where the person is like, oh, I don't want to have you staying with me because I still have feelings for you, but you're not really feeling me like that. Or it might be a scenario like, oh, it would be kind of difficult or a hard sell, like if you have your ex-girlfriend staying with you and you still trying to like be out in the streets and dating and stuff like that. I mean, I get it or whatever, but I'm thinking, like, bro, we were together for 16 years on and off, and when I asked you if I could stay with you in a hypothetical scenario, but you tell me no, like, that kind of makes me rethink the reason that I even entertained foolishness for that time period. And it wasn't always foolishness. It was just a different, you said he got someone, or truth be told, he might be staying with someone himself. Well, it is his place or whatever, but I'm considering that maybe he has somebody, like, but for him to just tell me no so abruptly, and I'm thinking, like, really? Like, but it's only here, and then okay. Then I also thought, I was like, okay, it's only been a year. Let's say I was trying to get back with him. I'm like, well, you just told me the wrong answer. If you thought I was, if you even had an inkling that I was trying to get back with you, like, you telling me no, that you wouldn't help me out in a bind like that, like, that's crazy. I just was like, it just made me rethink, like, what I had been doing for all of that amount of time. Really, it just made me feel kind of like, that's different. That's real rich. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to get on here real quick and talk about, like, disappointment in relationships. It's so interesting, I think, um, what you might agree to do for someone, but then they won't reciprocate the same favor if you needed it. I think that that's very interesting to really see how people really behave when there's nothing that they think they can get from you. Like, because my thinking is, okay, when we were together, you benefited from it. So now you're telling me no because you wouldn't be directly able to benefit from my staying there. Like, is it because I wouldn't be opening my legs that you would be telling me no in this fashion? Like, if I was offering myself up on a platter to you, would you have said yes? But if I offer myself up on a platter, I'm not likely to get anything remotely of what I need or desire if I was to do that. It's it would have been an unfair trade in that regard. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Now, this is just abstracting. I do see how sometimes women can get themselves in tricky or sticky situations with men if they don't have their own money bag, or if they don't have their own space or place for themselves to lay their head. I do see how women get into sticky situations with men, especially if they're in a position of need or lack. Um, because hypothetically speaking, if I was in a bind for real, um, and I needed to ask a person to stay with them, I see how women get in hot water and in scenarios where it's really unsavory for them because of their lack of resources. So glad that's not my lot in life. That's not my portion. Um, but it's just very interesting to see people's, maybe indifference or callousness whenever they can't directly benefit from doing you a favor. Um, but I think it is interesting because don't people always say like to pay attention how people treat you whenever they have nothing to gain from you? That kind of will tell you where you stand with people. Because if they don't have anything to gain from you and they treat you poor, um, it means that they might be bankrupt in some regard. So I don't know. Again, this was a rant because this just happened this evening, earlier this evening, and I had seen something on Instagram about like speaking one's truth, and I think I think it's just I don't know. Life is interesting. Life is real interesting, and I think I've been trying to wreck my brain for a while now about what types of videos that I think I would like to make, um, or trying to figure out what I already know my unique voice. Like, I know my lane, but sometimes I get caught up in, oh, well, what type of content shall I make? But I think in the interest of telling one's truth, I think I will begin to speak my truth a little bit more here on this platform, seeing as how it is my channel and I lived through the experience. So, who better to talk about it but me? So, that said, you may see more videos like this where I'm kind of just sounding off on different things that I've experienced and just talking, to share and to, you know, hopefully perhaps encourage or get someone to think about something that I may have said, or if someone had the same lived or similar lived experience. I think I will begin to make more videos like this one because one, they're real, they're authentic, and my story cannot be duplicated because I'm the only one that lived it. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in and listening to me rant this evening. And I don't know. Um, if you are subscribed to my channel, like drop me a comment or something. Tell me like what types of content that I have made that might have resonated with you, or yeah, I think that would be helpful information. Because otherwise, I'm still gonna make videos about what I want to make videos about. Tonight being one of them. I just wanted to talk about disappointment in relationships, or a disappointing thing that happened in and the thing about it is, I thought that me and ex-boyfriend, I thought that we had good rapport. Um, but based on what he said this evening, I don't think the rapport is that great. I thought that at the base of it all that we were still kind of friends. But if a friend wouldn't help you if you're in a bind, even if you ask them a hypothetical question, then that's not really much of a friend. Um, so yeah. Anywho, hey, hey, Carolyn. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen you on here. You'll have to catch the replay of this one because I'm just about done. I had a scenario where I ran something by somebody, a question earlier, and they basically, in no uncertain terms, told me nope. Basically said F me. They didn't say it that, but in the manner that the manner and quickness in which they said no made me know to that, oh, this person doesn't really mess with me like that. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not they ever did, based on how things turned out, because I'm pretty freaking fabulous. But oh well. Anywho, so you'll have to catch the replay. If you missed everything of what I was talking about, catch the replay. Let me know in the comments like what types of videos y'all want to see. Do you like me talking about relationships or stuff like that? Because I mean, there's always more tea. Listen, there is always more tea. I'm not, and again, I'm a very private person, so I normally don't even share my business like that. But I just had to come on here and just share that. And I think I could share more in the future, um, gingerly and over time, because again, I'm not an open book at all. But I think it's just time for me to tell my truth, and maybe it'll help somebody else to not duplicate the same ridiculous stuff that some of what I went through was like. Um, so at any rate, thanks y'all for watching. Check out my pottery videos if you like pottery or not. I don't know. But yeah, just let me know in the comments what y'all want to see. Because I'm about to end this live because I think what time is it? It's like almost oh, I have on my watch. It's probably like past my bedtime a little bit. Y'all see I got on my pajamas. Um, so yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.